Hi, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about things that you don't have a right to. People think they have a right to a lot of shit, and you do. You have rights in the Constitution. You have natural rights, which may be debatable, but you have God-given rights. But there's some things that you don't really have a right to. So let's squash some fantasies that we've lived with and get to reality. One of the things that you don't have a right to, and people talk about this a lot, Jordan Peterson talks about this, you don't have a right to be a weakling. You don't. You don't have a right to be weak. People think that they have a right to be weak. I can be as weak as I want to be. No, you can't. You have a duty, you have an obligation to be as strong as possible for the people around you, for your kids, for your wife, for your family, for your community. To be physically strong, mentally strong. You don't have a right to be weak. It's interesting because people defend their right to be weak harder, with more energy, spent energy, than it would take to become stronger. I watch people break themselves in half trying to defend their weakness when they could easily just be stronger. You could spend all that fucking energy that you're wasting to be stronger. You don't have a right to be stupid. Why do people embrace this shit? They do it in the streets a lot. They're keeping it real. Like being educated, being smart is somehow making you a slave to the man or some shit. I don't even get it. You have a duty to be smart, to be wickedly smart, dangerously smart. Supervillain, smart. Mad scientist, smart. Smart like a professor, like a wizard, like an intellectual. Be an intellectual. Read. If you don't read, you're part of the problem. You're part of the downfall of Western civilization. You don't have a right to be stupid. Stop embracing this poor white trash or whatever color you are kind of version of yourself. You don't have a right to be selfish. We learn that on the playground. If you grew up in a household full of kids, brothers and sisters, your mom will teach you that. Your dad will teach you that. You don't have a right to be selfish. They'll tell you, not in this house. We share. There's a lot of people that are selfish motherfuckers, and they think that it's like trickle-down economics. They just want to feed themselves, and whatever crumbs you get is what you get. You don't have a right to be selfish. You don't have a right to be emotional. Get these fish hiding behind me. I got a whole bunch of piranhas. You see them? See, there they go. They're hiding behind me. I don't know why they're hiding behind me. You don't have a right to be emotional. There's a lot of people out there that are overly emotional. They're going through their sadness. I'm just sad today, as if we're supposed to accept that, as if your daughter's supposed to accept the fact that you're just having a bad fucking day. Or your wife, or your boss. Your boss don't care. I don't care if you're having a bad day. Go make me my money, motherfucker. I mean, nobody cares about that shit. Stop being so emotional. Get over that shit. It's not about you. Your happiness, your sadness, your anger. You're so angry at all this stuff. People have dogged you, betrayed you. Get over your fucking self. It's about others. So detach from your emotions. You'll become a better warrior. See, now they're coming out. They just had to be friendly. I've had those motherfuckers since they were little tiny fish. I've had those things for probably 10 years. The tank is small, they won't get any bigger. If they put them in a bigger tank, those fuckers will get bigger. You have no right to demand validation or acceptance. The world doesn't have to validate you or accept you. Nobody does. You can go unnoticed your whole life, unrewarded your whole life, never with a trophy or a pat on the back. Nobody owes you anything like that. Nobody has to tell you, good boy, pat you on the back. I mean, it's nice to have that shit. And when you put in hard work, people typically will respond with praise. But nobody owes it to you. There's motherfuckers walking around like they're little emperors, like people owe them shit. I mean, it's confusing. In fact, you have a whole generation that's demanding to be accepted. They demand acceptance. Imagine that. Someone comes in your house, you're having a little party. Someone comes in your house, you barely know the motherfucker. And they're a little bit weird. Everybody at your house is kind of the same because it's the way the family is. And they come in, they're a little odd, but hey, no big deal. But then they start throwing demand. I demand to be accepted. That would be so weird. This is what a whole generation seems to be doing. You don't have a right to that. Nobody owes you that. You don't have a right to survive. That's a funny one. You don't have a right to survive. You may have a right to life, but once you're alive, nobody's guaranteeing that you're going to stay alive. You don't have a right to live till tomorrow. Sure, I mean, murder's illegal, and but people go around taking life for granted. They get angry when they get diseased, or especially what the ironic one is when people have poor self-care. They have a poor lifestyle, no lifestyle management, no program, no mind, body, and soul in their life. And then something happens, cancer. And they shake their fist at God, at the rest of us. It's everyone's fault. They just had a bad card, and we don't know how cancer's caused, but you live a poor lifestyle. That diabetes you have could be your fault. Most likely is. Some of these things that hit us out of nowhere are our own goddamn fault. And you have no guarantee with your survival. All you can do is the best you can. And the wiser you get, the smarter you get, the more that you can try to use those survival skills to live longer, to live more fulfilling life. But people die every day. Animals die every day. Little fish die every day. Not at my house, but at the fish store they do. Every time I go up there, there's one floating. You have no guarantee, no right. You demand it. I have a right to survive. Give me welfare. I have a right to survive. Give me this, give me that. Nobody cares if you starve. You gotta fight for your survival. Only the strong survive. That's why we go back to the first one. You have no right to be weak. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.